Okay.
I wasn't fast enough. Or push the door far enough so it was gone. Well, I was in the middle of trying to grab it to close it. That was the problem, I think. So I kind of began to help the process, and then it took over. David.
What have you done, Joanne?
Oh, whatever. Oh, the other day, I thought when the door closed on me last week
Yeah.
that I was fine. I took some arnica. It didn't hurt, but then it started hurting again. And I think the other day I had a pair of smart wool socks on, and I think they just closed off the circulation, or they pinched enough that.
Ouch.
Oh yeah, it's arnica cream time. Do what you gotta do.
Hi, Carol.
I did it.
How you doing? Sounds like it's not a great day.
Well, today isn't too bad.
Oh, good.
All right. John is just realizing that some of his back and abdominal pain
Yeah.
is coming from testicle.
Oh.
And try to get into a urologist.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
No.
June. They can see him in June.
Yeah.
Or he can go to the ER.
Yeah.
Or he's got an appointment with his primary care tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
And was he able to get that because of this, or was that a regular?
No, that was because of this. He spent time on the phone with Hartford Health trying to.
Oh, that's when the triage nurse was helping.
Yeah.
Yep. Is it
Oh.
just us? Are people coming? It's 9:00 and no one's here. is what you're
That's
saying.
true. I expect Bill.
Bill Nagel is in the waiting room.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear. Remember, he may have just
I
arrived.
go to the waiting rooms because I'm no good at paying attention to when I facilitate a meeting. I just-
And there's Bill Bynum.
Anybody can come.
Yeah.
So far, I've never had anyone come who wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, when I do it, and so that anyone can come whether I'm there or not, because there are times when I set up the Zoom meeting and maybe he can't go,
Right.
or
Oh yeah, there they both.
Hello.
All right.
Good morning. You're very narrow, Bill.
Am I? Yeah,
Yeah.
I locked my screen or something. I may get on my computer and something.
Windows phone.
I think I've locked my screen orientation on my iPad.
Oh,
So I'm going to do it again, David. Just a second.
Yeah,
sure.
because your coffee, your mug is half the screen now. It's taking over.
Good morning, Mr. Nagel.
Good morning.
How's the roundabout today?
I don't know. Yesterday it was well, they're still working, you know. They had a number of people out at the big one yesterday.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. Maybe there will be some progress about paving that
Yeah,
thing.
that'd be good.
And you know, I have no idea what to think about the bridge. When is it supposed to be done? Well,
Sometime in the future.
yeah, yeah, okay.
At this point, I have no idea. I think it was supposed to be done by now,
Yes.
When
originally.
they do those kind of projects, they just like don't seem to work on it every day.
So-
There's machinery sitting there forever. Figured, wow, there's a little overhead.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Can you tell me the meeting ID, David? Something's happening here.
Can I tell it to you? No.
No?
And he asked you,
I-
okay, they dig up the road, and then they do something, and then they dig it up.
Hold
They
on.
did that
Can't they
in
do
Maple Street a couple
Bill?
years ago.
Yeah,
383
Oh, good.
They get money,
yeah,
One thing.
499
and it has to be completed.
yeah.
2099.
And
Okay.
that's,
And then
Thank you,
undo
Bill.
it because you have
Yep.
money for the pipes now,
Right.
which are under the new road.
though usually they don't redo the road, they just, you know.
No, they do patches afterwards. That's what they did for us, for Norwich. They had to do some. They were putting, I don't know what they were putting in. Yeah, they did the road and then.
Recording.
He said this is a new.
Aha.
Ah, there you are.
All better. Sorry about that.
Okay.
That's all right.
Very good. Yeah, I had to go to the bank
Good.
yesterday to help open a SCP IRA for an employee. Took an hour. I had 2 deposits to make. Without realizing it. I was like, you know, after an hour of trying to figure something out you do not understand. Anyhow. All right.
You said this is the beginning of a new session.
Yes, it is.
Okay. At the break, I'll run out and get my
Yep.
pack in the car with a lunch.
This is the beginning of a new session.
That's how we tell time.
Right.
Oh, weeks going by, it's another Wednesday. Oh, weeks are going by, it's another.
They certainly do go by.
They do go by.
Okay. Questions? Carol and Bill, since you've been through the mill, has anything come up in your practice that
No, I've been looking at 3 more. Kind of get all the rising and sinking in the right places, which is, and I don't think I'm working on
yeah.
it.
And it's easy to be sharp in 3.
Yes.
I find that's
Yeah, well, and it's the contradiction at the top,
Yes.
that it's higher but it's lower. and if it's about keeping the arms more or less in the same place, then that can't be what's doing the higher part, or the
Right. You can't use the
you
arms
can't use the
that
arms
way.
to do
no.
the top.
No, it's here.
Yeah, but if it's there money you can get for the C curve in there.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I was thinking a really good exercise for this. I really, more and more I think about how brilliant Master Joe was. But, you know, we do. It, I don't know who here has been really through the 8 Gates training, but. When we get into the Chansa-jin, Master Joe, I don't know, there's somewhere between 50 and 100 variations. But one I was thinking of that relates to 3, and it's kind of, you say, wait a minute, what do you mean? How does that relate to 3? Is one where you're bent and weighted forward, and then you go back into extension, and then you go forward into bending, and you go back into extension, and forward. And the back's going through all of that. And it's just teaching you to work with opposites. That you don't always have to have everything in unison, that sometimes things in opposite work.
Yeah.
And there are whole variations of it. That's just, then you start going around and starting at the different points around the sphere. It's a great practice.
Yeah, that was good. The 8 Gates never included, we didn't talk a lot about the spine, or certainly not the C curve, but
I didn't really understand that at that point, though, when I first was teaching 8 Gate.
but
I've continued to learn too.
you can't do the 8 Gates without your spine.
We're gonna have Billisms up on the wall.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's good, Bill.
In 3,
Please
in
keep
3,
the spine involved.
What would it look like?
so in 3, when we're at 12 versus 6, what you pointed to the Dantian, but what is the quad doing, and how much of the elevation is coming from the quad, or we have the same C curve.
About
Yeah,
about 100%.
all of it. Okay. So
Well,
that's where we get the up and down part, even though we're going into the C curve at both 6
you're
and
not
12.
getting it by bending the back,
Right.
and you're not getting it by moving the arms up and down. You're getting it by circling the dantian, and yes, the quad and the knees are involved. But remember that when you go down, you're thinking of dropping that sacrum straight down, not back or forward.
Yeah.
And in that is, of course, if you take the arms out of it, you can't. Your spine is bent here. It straightens here. It bends here. It straightens here. It bends.
Yeah.
And that bend of the spine at 12 is going to be small. For me, it's smaller than what I do at 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the combination of things that are happening there. So you don't have to feel that at 12 you've got to have the same C curve that you have at 6, because you don't. I mean, that would be, I think, unreasonable.
Yeah. So I think what makes it harder is, uh, we're transitioning to shifting either to the left or right, going to 6 or 3, and I mean to 3 or 9. And could you talk a little bit more about what happens to the claws? We're doing that when we do the stretch, and then we come out of the C curve. What's
Mm-hmm.
the so now you've got the weighted on the forward foot
Yep.
more, but not 100%, right? It's like a 60-30 kind of weight.
Where'd the other
Maybe
10 go?
60-40.
60-30. That only adds up to 90.
Yeah. That's why I asked
I
about
want to
the
know
other
what
10.
to do with the other 10%. So,
In the spine.
absolutely, at this point, you're weighted towards the heel on the weighted foot, and towards the toe on the other one. And the extension, remember I talked about not this movement, in this case at 9 o'clock, is not up, which is opening this qua. It's out, which is opening the opposite qua,
Mhm.
opening this one.
Mhm.
Where the energy is coming up, that's why you're opening it. The
Yeah.
energy is rising through this leg. So you're weighted towards the toe, which
Mhm.
encourages rising energy, and you're opening the qua, which allows the energy to come up. Did that answer your question, Bill?
Yeah, and that's good because I'm thinking about the C curve and going out of the C curve for the stretch, but haven't been thinking enough about the qua. I do think about the weighting. But,
So uh, the C curve, of course, is part of that, because when you get to here and you're straightening, that straightening goes through the spine. And then you're going back into the C curve as you come up here. And then when you come back to here, you're straightening the spine again and extending the leg.
yeah, yeah. I think I have a lot of lean in my stretch, which is not, which I don't see you hardly doing at all.
Actually, I was just going to say the opposite. Because when we talk about the stretch, it's not straight up.
No.
So there is a lean, if that's your word, right? Maybe you should.
Well, which stretch is he talking about?
Well, oh, that's a
At 3
good
and
point.
9.
Okay,
Is that
yeah.
what you're talking?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, at 3. No, I was actually talking about 12.
Okay, at 12.
But, no, I understand that stretch. Yes, yes, I understand that stretch. I thought you were. Is that what you were
Well-
talking? What numbers were you talking about? What position were you talking about, Bill?
I was talking about 3-9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Because I still see
at
a.
12, yes, you have a rising movement. Assuming we're going this way,
Okay.
you have a rising movement here. That's absolutely true. But at the same time, you have a bending of the spine.
Yeah.
Other questions, Bill Nagel? Anything come up for you?
No, I'm just observing how wonderfully complex this has gotten since.
And it's not going to get simpler, or it'll
No,
get more
it's not.
complex before it gets simpler.
And,
No, it's
yeah,
not.
can
gonna
we
get
go?
simpler.
Yeah, maybe we should go back to week 3 or something.
Week
no.
3? Oh God, no!
No, that's
Don't need
the,
to go that far back.
no.
No, week 3 it was
It was easy then.
backwards.
Okay.
You want to try it, Bill? No, I don't. It's not that I'm not feeling good, but this week was just terrible.
week for practicing, so, because of my leg hurting and the like, so. If I have to do it today, I will, but.
If you
But-
promise to show up next week.
I will be, oh yeah.
Well,
As long as the world
we can
changes
do
now.
that.
So that was a good discussion of three. Thank you.
That's
Oh,
Yeah,
helpful.
that clarified a
It's,
lot.
it's a
Oh,
number of
good.
questions, everyone has their own different questions and observations. I'm moving over here, so it's.
you know, and that's part of the value of questions. I mean,
Yes.
if I may or may not have said things before or shown things before, and so questions stimulate things that haven't been expressed or need to be repeated.
Right,
Yeah.
or you don't, you haven't come to the point of asking that question yet.
Yeah.
'Cause you're somewhere else in your head or.
Absolutely.
And you've said things that multiple times and they're heard differently
Yes.
every time.
Yes.
Well, sure, because it falls on us depending on what else we know or are aware of or paying attention to.
And
The
which
qual is
part of-
fine.
You absorb.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So, Bill, Mr. Bynum, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
And
Do
despite
the view.
despite being on Zoom,
What would it be better to be at a slight angle or straight on or?
um, well, hold on a moment. Let me. There we go.
See how far away I can get.
It's. I'll tell you what. We'll start this way. If I feel a need to see you at another angle, I'll say so.
Okay.
Can you see me? See?
Yes, I can find that.
Okay. So that basically the movement is good. What I'm not seeing is after you have connected at the dantian, as you begin to rise, that everything begins to twist outward. Yeah, they don't have to separate. You can twist outward, keeping them as they come up the center, and then expand out. But that needs to be continuous, and the twist in continuous. Even sooner, Bill. Okay, that's coming. Okay, do that transition again. Are you doing it from the top or the bottom? It looked like you were doing it from the middle.
That's my capital. Yeah. I was trying to do it from the bottom.
Okay.
I had never tried that.
So, don't raise and lower the arms. Just simply twist and bend in. I mean, yes, the hands do come in, but they don't go up. Okay? Your principal movement here is to twist in, and at the same time, you're going to be bending a little too, but you're not going to do a lot of bending which raises the hands.
Yeah, I was thinking I was dropping the elbows here and then raising them.
Well, that's okay. See, I feel like you're trying to make the circle with your hands and not with your dantian. The arms just are carried along. They they don't lead the movement. Yeah, that's better. Try to round those corners at 3 and 9. So reverse direction this time. Do you usually reverse at the bottom?
If I transition at the bottom, I reverse at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, try not to let the hands come into the center as you are rotating. So twisting is not coming into the center, it's just twisting in place.
I don't think he can see you.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see your hands a little bit.
But not much. If watching you, I can just see your fingers.
Okay. So hold on a second, Bill.
Okay.
Swap view.
If only I could see what I'm doing. So it's all right. So what I was seeing was that as you came into center, or to 12 or 6, your hands were coming into the middle.
Yeah.
And what they do here is they stay aligned with the sidelines of the body. They don't bend in this way, they just bend this way.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I definitely was doing that. Yeah.
It's just I don't know if you remember that this with this posture you're really working with the liver and the spleen energies, and so you really want to stay with those sidelines of placement of the hands.
Yeah, I definitely been going like that.
Well, come on, let me out of here.
Remove spotlight.
Hmm?
Let's go. Oh. How do you do that, Carol?
Well, there's a top button
On
that
the
says
far upper.
top left-hand corner. It says remove spotlight.
Oh, I can't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Yep, there you go.
Ah,
And now you can pin him again.
yes, I can. Would you turn sideways, Bill? Okay, so basically that looks pretty good. The one thing I would say is it seems to me you're trying to do too much bend in the top of the spine,
Oh, okay.
which has a natural tendency to do more, but it doesn't need to be overdone,
Okay.
which actually should make it a little easier. Yeah. Okay, turn back forward and transition to 5. Do a transition to 5. Where does that happen? What do you do? What's happening there?
Transition to 5. So I've got to get down and stay in.
So you have to condense there, condense your energy. So there is a condense that goes on during that sinking motion, yeah. So when your hands are rising, how high do you feel the energy moving?
Yeah, I'm not getting it up as high as I want to right now. This is an awkward one for me because I'm trying to do it with my spine and not my arms and with
Mm-hmm.
the C curve,
Yep.
but bringing that up is something I'm still not. I
Uh,
haven't found it.
yes. So my feeling is that the after you when you get to the lower dantian and you start up, it continues to twist and bend in all the way up.
Yeah. This is one for me that changed a whole lot 2 lessons ago when I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
figure it
See,
out.
the problem is that you're making the movement when you separate and go out. You're coming up to a point and going out. I don't feel the roundness of that movement. So it feels like the transition from twisting in to twisting out is not clear to you.
It's, yeah, it's not. 'Cause
Don't pop up. Keep the pace the same. That's a little better. It feels like you are going faster when you start to send the energy out. So you want to try to keep that the same. Yep. So what's your intention with the energy?
I'm bringing it up and then out and back down, condensing.
So where is it going up?
So it's going up when I'm from, I guess
Yeah,
I'm
but
still
where in your body is it going up?
the central channel is where
Uh-huh.
I think.
So do you have any sense of the central channel?
Occasionally, yeah, when I get this connection uh, at the Dantian, I did not get a good connection up higher,
Uh-huh.
but I do get a little bit of a sense starting, so I feel like I'm approaching it. But
Okay. So you want that sense of pulling the energy up. That's part of why the movement goes the way it does. So you're pulling that energy up and then you're pushing it out and down. Into the side channels and down. Into the Dantian and up. Okay, next time do your transition to 6. So how could you round that transition? Well, you got to do the going into it first. Because the transition is after you've gone into the Dantian, how do you round that transition to going out?
Mm.
oops. I think
Oh, good, so you don't need my head. So when you
But if you go back a little bit, you can see more of your arms probably.
okay,
Yeah, that's
yeah, I realize.
that's good.
So when you get to this point, now you're coming back in to the Dantian. If you let the arms go forward a little, then they can make that, they can round that corner and spread out to the extent of your etheric body and then come up and go down through the center. So I think it is possible that you can get into the Dantian and come in towards the body and round the corner, but it seems to me more awkward that way. So I have found that coming into the Dantian and going forward slightly allows you to make that movement. Okay, you've taught me something new today, Carol. I want him, not me.
That's you on the head.
Are you sinking at all, Bill, or just bending your spine?
getting a little tiny bit of sink, but I feel like it's really coming from the C curve. I think I'm overdoing the C curve.
Yeah, that was kind of my feeling. Because the the and knees also have to be involved in that movement. You're right, not as big as something like two, but or four, but there needs to be some. And when you after you get to the cross of the wrists at the top, make sure you drop your elbows. Don't let them spread out. Drop them into your sidelines. No.
There, I'm
You need to get,
twisting in with my thumbs as I'm just coming down.
yep. And you can drop your elbows as you come, rather than spread your elbows out, which will help get the energy. It releases the shoulders and scapula and gets the energy come down the central channel.
I think that's easier if I have my hands further from my body.
Yeah, they can be. That's fine. Because you're even though that sinking motion does have to have bending and twisting in, the bend and the twist can be fairly small. It doesn't have to be huge. It needs to be present. So next time when you come down, transition to 7. Um, as you come up, it doesn't seem to me that the spine and the neck are really straightening and curving back a little.
Okay.
It feels like the top of your body is leaning forward too much.
I think it is.
Yeah. While we're thinking of this movement coming from the Dantian, we are focusing on rotating the spine. I can't really tell if your arms are rotating with you, are they?
Yeah, a little bit.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. And close. So keep thinking about dropping the elbows. We really want to keep the elbows as close to 45 degrees or less than we can. Well, there are a number of positions which that's not logically possible or structurally possible. But you want to keep focusing on dropping the elbows as much as you can because that really affects the shoulders. It takes a very slight difference in position of the elbow to begin to close the shoulder and the scapula.
Mm.
So it's really staying aware of keeping the energy moving through that area.
Okay, good.
Do you have other questions?
Well, you've given me so much good comments to think about. I don't think I have questions. I have digestions.
Okay. Any thoughts from anyone else?
Noticed when he added the curve at 3
Uh-huh.
to get to put the curve into the, it was really little and it made a huge difference
Yeah.
in what it looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, there was hardly any movement, but it was just enough to
enough.
make that curve, make it a curve instead of a jet.
Yeah.
And then-
Yeah. Did you hear that, Bill?
Yeah, and 3 about the little
Yeah.
change at the bottom. Yeah,
No, it was
No, this-
at the sides, going from the,
along the side.
oh, you
Yeah,
can't
say a
see
little
it.
more, Carol.
Yeah. Do you want to get over here, Carol?
Well, just that the difference between the push out, it was so subtle, but it was visibly
Yeah.
different. So it's, which pointed out, okay, putting the curve into the corners is really little.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be a lot.
So
It
I
is,
was
yeah.
impressed at how little it took to make a lot.
I think that's a particularly good point to be aware of, particularly in this practice. We tend to overdo often, and subtlety may be a better goal than overdoing. More productive in the long run.
Yeah, I also found just kind of moving our hands out. I've been trying to move them around more. I think that's another way.
Yeah, I hadn't
of-
thought about
Yeah.
it being out to make the circle for 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for 3, one of the things you said was how my hands tend to come closer together, which I definitely was doing. So that's a big change for me personally.
Yeah, it's our emphasis up through 4 is on the side channels, and obviously our emphasis in 5 and 6 is the central channel. So that's why.
Yes.
That's why. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
This is a helpful practice. I mean, doing this process, a helpful process for the
Yeah.
practice.
yeah.
Maybe I should say, because I feel like I learn every time. Everyone does something
Yeah,
Well-
and sometimes it's easier to learn
from someone else.
from someone else's.
Yeah.
I feel clearer about 3, but we've gone over 3 times now.
Right.
Yeah.
That puts pressure on me. I have to be perfect.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
I will. Yes.
I hope
Well,
you've
it's
learned
also-
not to be
I-
perfect.
I think the interesting thing is too that each of us have kind of, I'll say for myself, maybe strengths and weaknesses, or stronger points and other. It's not like we're all in the same place here, which is another part of the learning process. I think,
Yeah.
because we're all individual as we practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And part of doing this at this point was that I felt like you had reached a stage in your development where this would have some
Yeah.
benefit. Because if you do it too soon, it's just confusing.
Yes, I agree. We're still trying
Yeah.
to figure things out. That
Yeah.
teaching us the nuances of where the hand should be would be like, what? I'm still trying to figure out the, the basic. We have the basics of this now.
Yeah.
I even feel like I'm getting 7.
Ooh.
I thought of you this week. The one or two times I did practice that, and you say it.
Oh, good.
Just kind of, yeah. I mean, I do feel the qua, so I feel, yeah, but
Good.
still,
Yeah.
where we,
Yeah.
that's a
Yes.
trick, but it's
Yes. There's so much to explore in 7. I've been trying to, at least this past week, thinking more about, opening the vertebrae on the side, and that sort of rotates around. More about opening than rotating and closing, but keeping the hips, the hips steady while rotating with the shoulders to get. But opening the spine has been more useful to me than uh, closing it or thinking about swirling around the center or some other technique.
swirl. I like that. I like that description, Bill.
Okay.
Swirling around the center. But yeah, I got you. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, yeah. What? Go ahead.
I was going to ask, tell me exactly what I mean.
You know,
But,
one of the things that I remember Bruce telling us about 7 was that if at any point you feel like you're going out of balance, you're doing it wrong.
You're out of balance.
So there is very little weight shift. There is a little because of the fact that you're going around in a circle. But if you make it large enough that you begin to have any sense of significant weight shift or the tendency to lose your balance, then it's too much.
so one thing, I mean, every other movement that we have in this has the twisting in, twisting out.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it's all simultaneous. It's even between the two. There's not like a yin or yang domination in any one part of the twist, the way I'm thinking about it. Is that true, or is it?
Well, I was going to say it's true in all of them,
Uh,
not just 7. But
well, no, I think I think though there's always more of a balance in 7 where, when we condense all the way in and we're twisting in, feel very yin, and then we have a transition to going out. But in 7, the spine is always on one side expanding and on the other side contracting continually. It's not the focus isn't on the contraction or on the condensing without having the same amount of expansion.
well, really, the focus on the spine is in the opening, not in the closing.
Yeah.
And condensing refers to energy, not to physical movement.
Mm.
Uh, it affects physical movement, but we're not trying to condense our movement. We're trying to condense the energy.
Mm.
So I think that's an important distinction to make. It does affect your movement because the movement becomes somewhat smaller, but it doesn't disappear. and with the spine, you have the close. You're right in a way. You could think about that there was a closing, but really we're thinking about opening the posterior and then opening the anterior. So it's not with the spine. We don't have a sense of closing. What we do have is closing the ribs and on one side and opening the ribs on the other side and then reversing that as we go around. That opening and closing is going on in opposition. But the spine, we're continually trying to open and increase the space between the vertebrae. Did that confuse you
Yes.
what
further?
I think?
No,
No.
no, it doesn't.
I think the thing I was just going to say was that's helpful. It's the word we haven't used today, I think, is crane's neck. I think that in terms of just thinking of our spine in 7, that's a key. That's a key piece of it. The spine doesn't end here.
That's right. And also not overdoing the crane.
Right, yes.
'Cause
Yeah.
we all, I mean, that's,
It's very easy to
I
overdo.
have done that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure all of us have it at one point or another.
It's kind of like what you were saying about rounding the corners. It's like that subtlety, right?
Yep.
It's like not just kind of like, oh, I can't. Yeah, I felt like I was really, trying to be some sort of a bird out there.
Yeah, right.
The
Yeah,
energy
right.
was not there.
Yeah, that you don't want to do.
No.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that was a couple of times you commented on that. I overdo that at the top part of my spine. Uh, and that's a good takeaway for me for today also.
Yeah, getting the sense of proportionally bending the top and the bottom of the spine in relation to each other is part of what you're trying to find here, because we are not just bending the crane's neck and just bending the sacral area. They're joined by that thing in between the spine. And we want those bends to be in relation to each other. And the thing is that obviously the lower spine cannot bend anywhere nearly as much as the upper spine. So you have to find what's the appropriate amount of that lower spine bend and use the same proportional amount of the upper spine. But they're not the same. They are different because they function differently. And it's very easy to overdo that upper spine. And often what that will mean is that you are overdoing the lower spine too, which actually will close things rather than open. So if you
Early on, in one of the things I do think about when I'm trying to do the crane's neck is having it be like a bow, and you're with a string, so your uh, spine is the bow, and then with the string pulling on it, that puts you into the crane's
Right.
neck.
Yep. Well, that's probably enough.
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
a lot.
We've had a lot here.
Thankfully, we're recording.
Yeah, thankfully we're recorded indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Also, hey everybody.
Okay.
And then we come to the form.
Then we come with the form. I'm gonna run out and get my checkbook.
Okay.
I locked the car, so
You locked the car. Okay. Can you open it from here?
I don't know if it stayed open.
It might kind of
I've
like
tried that.
you've tried that,
gives
and
you,
it's.
it gives you about 5 seconds.
Remember when
or
Annie
something.
first got one of these?
Oh.
She's like, from my bedroom, I can open, I can turn my car.
But I suppose it can probably can. This apparently you can back it up remotely. I never tried it.
Oh,
You go
God.
forward.
Now I
So-
need to make sure I
That one.
just do that one. Okay. David, I have a question about
Sure.
just your site and this. Would it help if you had a bigger screen connected to your laptop?
You
Have
know,
you tried that?
my problem is I haven't figured out how to do that. I can't get the full width of the screen.
Right, but I mean, I might have another screen. It was on a computer that we don't use.
It's
That-
not
It-
not.
So a large, like
it's,
connecting
it's
this
a,
computer
It's a software.
to a bigger screen wouldn't help you.
No. Not well. I don't.
Maybe, maybe I'll bring one in next week. Haul one in next week.
Well,
But you'd have to have it. I mean, you'd have to use the remote camera. Otherwise, I mean, I have a bigger screen, but when I do Zoom, I have to have my laptop open
Because
So-
you need that camera. Yeah.
because that's what the camera is.
Yep,
And-
yep.
and
Right.
And then
That's right.
You
I
know,
forgot
and
you had
maybe
all of those
if I'm
different
looking at the big
systems.
pictures, it looks like I'm my eyes are
Yeah.
watching the ceiling because it's looking over everybody's heads because it's above the camera.
I was using it for a while before I had my cataract surgery. That was more helpful, but yeah, now I tend to just use the laptop.
no, I don't know why, but I have not been able to figure out how on Zoom. Zoom is the only place that I don't have the full screen.
That it's smaller,
Yeah,
and the view does. Yeah, the view doesn't allow that.
and I have not been able to find why that is and how to correct it.
Under video, what are your choices?
On,
Where's video?
On that second to the
Oh,
left.
second one over there.
oh,
If you
well,
go,
I don't know. You can look.
You do
You
it,
can
Carol.
look at that, Carol, if
I'm
you
going to
like.
try to learn here too. Go on a second.
You'll see it much better than I will, Carol.
well, let's see.
You can move the chair.
Yeah, but now I have to go like.
I can see it from here. I don't know if I can see it that close. Video setting, the last one on the bottom, right? Choose avatar. Hide self view. Turn off video. There's so much there. Oh, wait a minute. Maximum participants.
No.
No? Oh, no, it's participants. Okay. There's so much. It's just,
It's crazy.
it's just, it's like in this little device.
Well, and right now I'm dealing with, I was forced to update to Windows 11 because my camera wouldn't work on
Wow.
Windows 10.
Yeah,
So what
that's,
what I have is that I've lost my main printer upstairs.
I wonder.
we have to plug it in now with an actual cord. We can't do the
I
Wi-Fi
do-
because we just got a new Wi-Fi. We got an updated Wi-Fi, and as we were downsizing, or they came and gave us a better, and it's terrible.
This is using that camera, right?
Yeah.
I wonder. You've got original ratio and high density. I don't know what that would do. So,
Or mirror my
have you ever tried that?
what?
The mirror versus.
What does that mean?
Well,
that
when
it's
you
us?
see yourself, do you see yourself as you would see yourself in the mirror,
or backwards.
or do you see yourself so that the right is
Yeah.
Yeah.
and boy is that confusing.
Ooh.
Because if I mean
I
seeing
hear what you're
yourself in the
saying.
mirror is what I expect to see.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at an
Yeah,
image of
right,
myself,
exactly.
and I move this, I expect
You
the one
gotta-
on that side to move. I don't
Not
expect the
that
one on
side.
that side to move. So it was really weird. Oh,
Ooh, what did you do?
Oh, look at that! You did the HD. You hit the HD.
I hit the HD.
Well, leave it.
Yeah. No. Okay. We can go back, David.
Okay, I know. I just
You
wanted
have
to.
it now. If that will stay there, right? Close it that way. Ta-da! Look at you. That's it.
All right.
Does that help?
Yes. Thank you, Carol.
Carol, the computer expert here. I
Not so
remember
much
when
anymore.
Carol said, "I'm going back into the workforce, but I don't want to do childcare anymore. I think I'll do computers." And I'm like, "What? You want to do what?" Was it how long ago was that?
A century.
The kids were little.
88. 1988.
Because I was watching the
wow.
kids on. You wouldn't get holidays. You wouldn't
Right.
get all the school holidays.
No.
So I took the kids. Oftentimes at a certain grade, when they were in
Yeah.
grade school,
And then John started working just weekends, and that
changed the
That changed that,
the
but
ability to be
changed
home.
that,
Well, and
yeah.
then they grow up enough that you don't need to do that. But
Right.
at some point,
At some point.
at some point you do. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that was great. Well, that was
Thank you, Carol.
a different kind of lesson.
I really appreciate that.
well, let's hope it continues to be that way.
Well, at least I have an idea,
An idea of where to
something.
go to look.
Yeah.
You don't have any kind of life alert or watch or anything. Well, you got Jane here, so if you fall, you don't have anything that tells you tells
No.
anybody.
No, and I haven't. I did have a couple of trippings, but it's been well over a year since that. And they were around the time, and the first one was around the time my son died, and then there was another one when I was coming out of the therapist where I was dealing with all of that.
And your feet weren't primary awareness there.
Oh, apparently. So we were kind of worried about that, but then I haven't had any problem with it. As long as I pick my feet up.
Is it 17? 16? One of those.
Ooh, all of a sudden, as I came to the doors and wind, the wind just picked up. Ay, ay, ay. Sounds like winter out there again.
It feels like winter out there. I mean, I put my turtleneck back on.
I saw. I was like,
Yeah.
It's a
very
mock
specifically
turtle.
said, I'm not putting a mock turtle on today. I'm remembering Carol. And then you
Well,
I
I
did.
compromised.
It's chilly. I have been wearing them all
The
week.
mock turtle. It's not the full bore turtle.
Yeah, no, yesterday I actually think, yesterday, what day was the warm day? Monday.
Yeah,
I was,
that was lovely.
it was. I spent a couple of hours in the backyard cleaning it up.
I did the form on the deck.
Oh,
The
nice.
whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And it was nice.
Yeah.
I hadn't done the whole thing in a while. This is a day to do the form on the deck.
All right.
Yesterday, on Monday, I noticed, I walked around the yard and I noticed, oh, that's a bittersweet root that's as big as my thumb. Roots.
They're
yeah,
so
whatever.
pretty in the fall and so invasive.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Yeah, so yesterday morning I dug some up and I cut it off and I cut off the roots and I poured a little bit of vinegar and salt mixture on the root. And hoping I wouldn't kill everything else in the neighborhood.
Sometimes those things
So.
happen. So,
You haven't been able to practice a
well,
lot.
you know what? Yeah, the leg, you know, my chiropractor must be on vacation because I keep getting his answer.
Oh,
Which is great because I feel like it takes a vacation, but not this week. So that's been a little hard. Last week I did practice and I felt like I was, and I did go back to the video, to that end part. So I was trying to get past incense and I felt like I was getting there, but then I started feeling the pain of this. I was like, oh God, this is not the position to be having to deal with that. So I don't specifically have questions on that. I don't think. I mean, I need to keep practicing, but I don't, nothing.
was it incense that was causing the pain, or gargoyles? Having to kind of go down, because it's right Yeah.
right there.
Okay. So if it
That's
was
a
say-
heavy door. It's not, I was like, I feel guilty, don't feel guilty. No, it was just bad combination of my trying to rush in and reach out, get the door, didn't put my, to reach all the way out, the leg was still out there, and then gust got me. But,
Oh well. Well,
yeah, I mean, I think that the thing about Tai Chi, particularly about the form, is that it both gives us better sense of balance and a better ability to have balance. But if you're a little off balance before you go into it, it's hard to kind of center that. I find anyway for me. If something is kind of particularly painful on one side or the other or whatever, it's like, it's like kind of, you can't get to where you want to go. And I realize some people just live with that always. Luckily, mine kind of comes and goes. We try to make it to go
yeah,
as much as possible.
absolutely.
Yeah, I find it. You want to make it smooth and continuous, but there are times when, okay, just before the kicks, is that weighted foot solid? Is that weighted leg
Yes.
solid?
Yeah,
Be solid before I try to kick.
Absolutely.
And there are several places where we're practicing now with that. Yes.
Because that's the kick section.
That's the kick, because we're at the kicks, yes.
Right.
And I think also I tend to, I think you've been good, David, at trying to remind us we don't need to do a full, just kick, like not, right. So if you kind of turn that and you're like, am I really solid? Yeah, just kind of go into that single lip kind of, maybe lower a little.
Well,
More,
yeah,
with the intention, but not the physicality of.
I want the
right.
You want the physicality? Not doing Sancho here.
But particularly when you're limited by your leg, it's
Yeah.
important not to overdo that.
Yeah, and that is one of those places where I can get off. You're right. It is because you're really putting all your weight on a leg that needs to be balanced.
So you do less.
You do less. You do less, and then the crisis of the world. I mean, I said to Carol before I met her up at 8:30, I'd already gotten 2 text messages. It was like, like I didn't answer. I have to train people. It's Wednesday morning. No.
It's so easy to get caught.
Well, then I think I can put out a fire or two, and then you end up like getting stuck in the
Yeah.
trying to go to bed last and trying to kind of close it down last night by 9 o'clock, and then somebody calls. It was kind of, I won't go into the story, but you need to be here listening.
So, any particular questions?
Like I said, I don't feel I do. I felt like when I was practicing, last week, after class last week, I felt like the questions I had were being answered by going back over the video over and over again. and just needing to hopefully get back to just doing a little more
So,
balance.
uh,
Do you want to try?
what are you capable of here today?
I mean, we can try it, and then we'll see if it's too much. It's too much. Or if
Okay,
what do you
yeah,
wanna-
so if it's too much, stop.
Yeah.
Do you have particular questions or areas?
I don't think so.
Okay.
My issues are more with awareness and just be present. Don't worry about the bird over there or the bush over there or the bittersweet climbing up the tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to develop that ability to
Yeah.
look but not see.
Yeah, I do the form with my eyes more or less open. I do the gods and my eyes closed because my visual takes over so much
Yeah.
that I can't turn my attention inside for gods, but for
That'll come.
yeah.
It is about that. This is an observation that's kind of off Tai Chi, but on Tai Chi. So I'm a UConn women's basketball fan, and I was watching the WNBA draft and Paige Beckers, and I have noticed, because I've seen several interviews with her, that and people are like, oh, this is like been an amazing week, and you won, and you had this, and you've done that, and now you're like the first draft pick, and she's like, I just keep my feet on the ground, and I stay in the present moment. And she just has this mantra, which is,
Good.
but I had not known. I mean, this is one of those weeks, right, where like your whole life is like all sorts of things you've dreamed about your whole life and all that. But she's very. You can just kind of feel the energy, just And she's like this fierce basketball player, but she's like, no, I keep my feet on the ground. I know where the ground is, and my feet is like I just stay present in the moment, And it's like,
Great.
yep, it is. Good athletes will talk that way.
Yeah.
Good female athletes. I don't hear the men do that very often. But
I would like to think
the
so.
gymnasts, I hear the female gymnasts do that, and they'll do it. But anyway,
I
it's just,
expect the male gymnasts to do that
What's
too.
that?
I expect the male gymnasts to do it too.
I'm sure they probably, yes.
They have to.
They have to. They just don't say it all the time. They have to.
They don't have the courage to say
Maybe they don't want to look like I don't know what, but
Yeah,
no,
whatever
she's
that-
whatever that is that that you think other people think of you.
less male. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. My testosterone doesn't let me say that.
they have different words for it.
They have different words for it. Yeah, I
But
suppose.
that focus.
It's-
Yeah, you can say you're just focused.
When you're performing at that level, you've got to be all there, present, right there. You can't be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
But when you start using words like mindful, connected to present, and connected to you're feeling your feet, keeping your feet on the ground. Like, there's just a certain language that resonates with me around meditation.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
okay.
Okay.
So
Where are we going? Oh,
you want to just try flowing the second paragraph, or do you want to just work at the end?
take this off. This is throwing off sometimes. Okay. Do you have an answer to his question? Where do we want to start our
Do
end?
the whole last paragraph. And just
And try to do
start
that.
from.
Or start from
From the push
one of the
to side.
many single whips that we're working on.
So just start
from.
from. Do you want to start further in, or can you do the whole second paragraph?
I mean, I could try. I mean, the challenge of the second paragraph does become more the end than the beginning. So.
Yeah, so what's a good place to start? Well, before the whole set of kicks.
Yeah.
So from the
From here, and then are we going
And then
into?
Lift hand and high pat. So don't let your hands get frozen when you make that turn.
Oh, and high pat. Now I do have a question. High pat. This hand is I used to do high pat like this.
Oh, my hat here in this form is this way.
Is that way? Okay.
It is this way.
Was it before
It-
the other way?
Yes.
Oh, before it was that way.
Style,
Ah.
Young style.
Ta-da!
too.
Yes,
Yeah.
now I remember. Because somehow this hand began to.
Yeah.
Now it's holding the stirrup.
It's holding the what?
The stirrup.
All right, all right. Yeah, okay. So I had like taught myself that and that undid it for some reason.
So.
I'm
I
gonna
like,
get over
I
here
like
just-
Carol. Started single whip.
Mm-hmm. Really,
Lift
I'll have my
hand.
back to that.
You go over there. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, I'm gonna stop you.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, that's.
So. After you've gone to lift hand,
Mm-hmm.
that was okay. I don't want to give too many details.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So we've gone to here. To go
Mhm.
into subdue tiger,
Mm-hmm.
this is up. So you have a
Mm.
sinking motion. Turn
Right.
right,
Yeah.
turn left into the posture,
Okay. Yeah.
and then shift into it and kick. And then rotate left and then right into.
Mm-hmm.
So those rotations were not there.
Gone there. Yeah. Yeah.
And then kick, and you can step around and spin on that left toe,
Mm.
and then after you have your single whip, have your kick, step, there needs to be a rotation. This is not just a shift forward. This is a turn left, not all the way to face forward, because that's not where the posture goes, but does need to be a rotation there, which continues into push down and out.
Yep. I feel like I was getting the end of the rotation out the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm.
So go back to single whip again. So okay. So I was watching Harry this time. I wasn't
That's
watching
fine.
you.
There's two of us.
So you don't have the rotations in gargoyles or single whip either. So that's happening to you too. I don't mean gargoyles. I mean subdued tiger. Excuse me. So when you get to here, there need to be two rotations into this. There is the yin twisting in and the yang twisting out. And then you of course have the kick. And then again there is the yin twisting in and the yang twisting out. So there needs to be that those two parts of that. Your turn is fine. Again, there needs to be a rotation in single whip. It's not when you kick and then you have the rotation into that. Because the arms are not just going boom. The arms are going out. They are rotating. The body is rotating. Yeah. Which leads you right into the next movement so that you get that foot forward and can push down and then out onto the right and up, step, follow, push down. So you lost your follow step.
Yeah. Today was one of those moments I got the single weapon. Okay.
What do I do now?
Now I'm done.
Which
Oh.
single whip is this? That's
Well,
my,
this one
that's
is the
my
different
question.
one. This one is one of the different.
Yeah, not so much. It was the matter of. I know I'm supposed to get over there, and
how do I-
and,
yeah.
and the transition is just gone.
Yeah.
With the positions in between.
Yeah, then out, you come up, step, follow, and you want to try to make a curve happen in this. It's very easy to get into just straight down, but you can let
A
that.
curve. Say that more about the curve, David.
So this is one of those places where it seems like the reverse is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, we've gone here, and this is
Yep.
an outward movement.
Mm-hmm.
You're now twisting in, and in, and in, and now this is, you're going to go in a little curve like this, but
Oh.
that's in your extension. So this is going out and down and then chop past the
Mhm.
palm.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to it.
Nothing to it. I had another. Somehow I also lost track of my. Ooh. Of your hands as you're coming around. They're not just not doing anything, but I feel like mine are not doing anything.
Oh, yeah. So they are doing something.
Yes, I know they're supposed to. Then I just realized they really weren't.
They're just twisting.
They're
in,
just twisting in with
twisting.
the
You
thumb-
want to try to
the-
keep that going though,
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
the way through that.
yeah. And then they go up. Okay.
Yeah, the last
That
part
that's
of it,
kind of a. I wasn't
they
doing
go
that yet.
up.
Okay.
so that you're ready to go into the kick, step,
And then
rotate and
rotate.
shift to single whip, up, push down and out, and up on the right, step, follow, push down, and chop.
Not been putting in that follow.
I'm sorry?
I think I may have not been putting in that follow.
Mm.
Well, you didn't the
I
time
didn't the
before.
first time,
That's
but-
why. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So you were right about that.
No. Yeah. And
So-
then as they come up,
So you want in there. I mean, you've been in here. There is that sense of extension in there. You don't have to go that low.
I know that,
it-
for a long time I couldn't go low. Now I'm like, oh, I can go low.
it can be it can be higher. I didn't mean to push you.
Actually, it doesn't feel bad to do that. I don't know why, but for
Yeah.
a long time I couldn't. So.
But what I felt was
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
what you were going down, that it was all right here, that nothing was really the body wasn't driving the arms
I
down.
feel like, and I've noticed this maybe the last couple of classes, well, certainly this one, last one, maybe, and I no before that, because I think it's also, yeah, a number of times that I think that I have been not really losing the energy, feeling the energy, not creating the energy, and at those places
Yeah.
on both sides. There's a lot of places where I really do feel it, but I think it's been more like, oh, what's the position of my hands?
Yeah.
And so I'm just, that's kind of a new awareness for me. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like a big missing, you know.
Well,
No, that's, I mean, that's a
when
good
you-
lesson, but it's
yeah,
just,
when
I'm
you get-
just, when you said that, I'm like, oh, yeah, but there's a pattern here that I'm
yeah.
becoming aware of.
So, yeah, I think remembering that there is this constant in and out,
Yes,
and
Right.
finding.
that's right.
As a
And
matter of
just-
fact, when I'm working on energy, often I will, in my mind, do a flow in which I do that. I say in and out all the way through.
I have done that, yeah.
You don't want to always do that.
No, but I
because that
think
gets in
that,
the way. But it helps set up the recognition of the pattern. What's happening? Where are those changes happening?
Yeah, I think the first time, so it has been a little while, because I think it's when we were kind of re-looking at fist under elbow, and I'm like, oh. I was more worried about where it was rather than the energy of it.
Yeah.
I think that's because I didn't do the second paragraph for a long time. And so I'm kind of like, oh, duh.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Okay.
more or
I kind of feel like with the whole class is I have a lot for this week. But
okay.
you feel that way too?
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like I have to take it as the whole, not just this.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
Thank you.
I like that. I like the challenges of having some, but not the overwhelming feeling like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Well-
wash it right out.
Yeah.
Well, I try not to overwhelm.
No,
you,
you
but-
try not to, and you're very good about asking us. I think that
Yeah.
helps a lot. Yeah.
Well, I try to be a teacher you can talk to.
You know, that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I actually really also liked the way I noticed it more today when you're talking about like, what do you feel, right? Like giving us that opportunity to kind of give that feedback
Yeah.
is helpful. Because sometimes we're not aware of it if we can't, you know, we have to be able to express it.
Yeah.
Which is not always, yeah.
Not always
Easy.
easy.
They're like, yeah.
Great.
Good. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good class. Good class.
Yeah, I love you guys coming.
I do too. I do too.
So, Joanne, the meditation class.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah. That's gonna tell me. Remind me again. What did you
It's gonna
say?
be Thursdays at 10, an
Thursdays at 10, and it's how long?
hour.
Getting anything into my schedule's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, even when I feel like, oh, I really need that. Yeah, I have to look because I have to. Yeah.
Well, think about it. It is a little different approach in that you're really working on trying to initially really become aware of the energy blockages and dissolve them and release them.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. You can ask Carol. She's been through it.
Stop going.
So you just stop going.
Because meditating is not working for me right now. I just go to sleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or go somewhere else anyway. Because
Yeah.
I just read over a set of notes, and I'm sure I was there, but it was as if I'd seen it for the first time. And
Well,
that doesn't. If even being here, I'm gone. It's not getting me what I need.
yeah. It
Yeah.
works differently for
Well,
everybody.
Yeah.
We're all different.
It's fascinating. I on New Year's Day I go to Maria and Dan's,
Oh, yeah.
and they do a kind of New Year's, with the meditation, although they'll also call it quicker silence or whatever. And then people kind of share, and it's like people go everywhere. I'm like, what?